All right, guys, in today's video, we are going to get Timeout up off the trailer so we can do much needed repairs and restoration of the hull. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to our channel, we're glad to have you. Right now, we are in the middle of a restoration of our 1992 MacGregor 26S sailboat that we basically got for free. If you go back and watch a couple of our previous videos, you're going to see what we've done so far, which was to strip the bottom down a bit and to kind of assess the damage. We dealt with trailer and registration, but now we're at a point where we've got a bigger task at hand. All right, so getting Timeout up off the trailer. That is our main goal at this point. This is going to allow us to do the proper repairs and also figure out the centerboard swing keel situation and that broken cable. So first off, what I'm about to show you is a bit of a mistake I made. I kind of first started messing around with getting the boat off the trailer without a specific plan. I brought down my floor jack and started just kind of hiking it up, and I just wanted to kind of see what I was dealing with. Maybe I'd get the back of the boat up high enough where I could see where I could put that centerboard keel bolt back in with the cable. I wanted to kind of assess that situation, and from there, things just, unfortunately, it went really wrong. All right, so I made a mistake. I'm out here working on the bottom and assessing how I'm tackling the trailer bunks and some of the hole repairs and things that we're finding. And I jacked the boat up, and I'll show you what I did. All right, so there it is. I got a jack underneath it, and it wasn't going anywhere. It was fine, and I wasn't really getting underneath it too much. I'm just putting some towels there to protect an area where a bunk was missing. I'm assessing a repair I need to do, getting ready to strip the rest of the bottom paint off. And the boat kind of shifted. It's not going anywhere, but unfortunately, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but yeah, we're crooked. And we are not in a position to put this in the water, let alone I don't want to drag it to the water in this condition. So we're going to attempt to kind of shimmy it back with the help of the Gladiator. So I got the Gladiator up there with my winch. I've got it down here to this tie strap. I'm going to attach it to the bottom of the jack there, and then I'm just going to kind of pull the boat back this way, and hopefully that's going to resolve. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have the tie strap right there on the jack. So I'm just going to take a little slack out, kind of see what it does. A little tension on the Jeep. All right, so we're going to nudge a little more in. Oh, there it goes. It's moving. Slowly but surely. Okay, I'm gonna go assess it. We just moved the boat a little bit, which is good, but I don't want the thing to fall off the jack, so let me go look at it. Okay, it moved, it's moving nice. It's gonna stay angled because kind of moving it, but it'll center a little bit. We're just gonna bring it in a little bit more and then see if we get it right. I don't know if you can see it, but it's moving. It might be where we want to be. Let me go take another look. Okay, I think we got it. So we are going to very, very, very gingerly, slowly let the jack down. Oop, that was not slow, but it got kind of stuck. But we're good. All right, crisis averted. So, not a big fan of how she fell down like that, but I'm sure it's fine. But yeah, we're nice and straight again. So I need to be a little more careful when I raise this thing up. Okay, so with the boat back to square one and properly back on the trailer, I needed to get together a real plan. Number one, I don't want to do more damage to the boat trying to get it up in the air. And then also, the more I thought about this, I mean, I'm really gonna have to crawl underneath this boat to do the work that I want to do. And I didn't want to put the situation in any way where it was unsafe or risky. So I sat down, I thought it through, and I put together a plan. All right, so got some hoist stands that I got from Harbor Freight on sale. They were pretty cheap. I built them. I built two of them. I wish I would have cut them before I built them, but here we are. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the bottom section off right here so that they're a little bit shorter because they're way too tall. This part is adjustable, And I'm gonna actually drill some holes through this guy, and I'm gonna bolt a piece of wood to this. So these are gonna be, I think, for the aft portion of the... So when I built these, this portion naturally bows out. So what I did is I just took my level as a straight edge and I set it right up against this so it's nice and flat. And then I marked it on both sides. So now I've got some nice flat cuts. Now I'm gonna have to do that on the other two sides as well, and then we're gonna go cut away. All right, there you have it. Got these guys cut off. Now, whoop, sorry. All right, we got our shortened stands. Now I do have to still cut the centerpieces down because now they're gonna be going straight into the ground. So we'll just line those up, measure them. All right, that's that. So these guys are mostly done. So I cut the bottoms off so now that they don't hit the ground. This is actually in the second to the lowest position. So it's about waist high, but they will drop down another like 8-10 inches. And then these guys adjust here too, where they go up and down just by twisting this. You can see it kind of slowly rise. So these have a lot of adjustability. Okay guys, at this point I made the decision to get up inside the boat, and I wanted to install the cable for the centerboard, the swing keel cable or whatever you'd like to call it. I also wanted to remove the ballast valve. These are things that I want to replace and fix obviously when the boat is up in the air off the trailer, but I don't want to be crawling around and walking around on the boat too often when it's off the trailer. It's just safer to be able to do these things now while the boat is still sitting down low. So I went ahead and jumped up in the boat and decided to start installing the cable. And then you won't see it on camera, but I dropped the ballast valve down and out, and I used some fishing line to kind of leave a line going down underneath so that would be easy to install a new one once we're ready to finish the bottom of the boat. So as I went to go run the cable across, there's a stop that's down here, which I have the cable fed through, but there is a pulley mounted right here, and here she is, and man, it is done. It is completely locked up and finished. So we went and picked up a brand new Harken pulley. Not the cheapest thing in the world, but this is a better version than this. And we don't want to have to mess with this again, because to change this pulley, we would have to drop the whole swing keel down again, and I don't want to deal with that. So I just got to clean up this area here, put some brand new stainless steel hardware, and this guy's going to mount right up underneath inside of this guy, back up in here. So what I'm going to try to do at this point is I'm going to try to get the boat up off the bunks. I've got my jack set up, and I have our new jack stands I made. They're still a little bit tall, which is a bummer, but we'll kind of see what we can do here and figure it out. Okay, so this is not fun, but I've got a floor jack down there to try to keep the trailer from tilting back. It's working okay, but the trailer is tilting back a bit. I'm just trying to get enough distance where I can get the bunks in and assess that damage that's under there a little bit better. So that's my problem. Instead of going up higher off the trailer, the old trailer is going up with it. And I've got a good gap right there, but not enough to be able to get the bunk in there with the bolt. So I'm gonna lower it back down and see if I can reposition things to try to stop the trailer from getting up off the ground. I mean, it's only like an inch off the ground, but still, we don't want it off the ground at all. Here's where we're at. I was able to test fit the new bunk wood underneath there, so that's good. So these guys are working great for the back of the boat, and I can put the other one on the other side, and I think it'll support the boat really, really well. But I've got to find a way to get the boat up higher and a way to support it. I kind of looked at how high I'd have to go to build like a structure I could slide in between the trailer and the boat. So to make our experiment on lifting up the boat productive, we are gonna go ahead and put the bunks in. So I bought some 2x4, some redwood, which is what's always recommended for bunks. I've got some stainless steel 1/4-inch bolts. I've already drilled out my holes, made sure it fit, and then I just kind of hammered them down in and countersunk them into the wood. So I just used this little Allen piece that I use for other stuff and a sledgehammer and knocked them right in. So now they're nice and snug. So we're gonna glue them up, carpet and staple them, and we can at least get the bunks in. So again, making a little progress with this experiment, not just doing nothing. So I've sprayed the glue down, which I just used some high strength 3M90, and I've already sprayed glue on both sides, let it kind of tack up a little bit. Gonna put it right there in the center, and then we're gonna fold it over. These are stainless steel staples, by the way. So this is where we're at right now. We got our floor jack, our trusty Daytona down there. By the way, I will not be getting under this boat with just that jack. I've got to build something. So I've got a piece of lumber here that I'm kind of sizing things up. Here's our 2 jack stands that we made, and you can see we've got it sitting on there. That seems to be okay. I've got the strap here just to kind of keep them together. I'll probably add an extra strap to be safe. But so far, I mean, we're getting it up, and the key here at this time around is the boat is not shifting, it's staying nice and straight, and I'm even very careful to do so. Well, as you can see, we are making progress. So to give you a perspective, there's the bunks, and I've got this pretty good sized block of wood on there. And you can see that we're sitting well over a foot above the bunks. Before, when I showed you, it was 6 inches. And look back there, get a little closer for you. There's our center board. And now I found a second hole up top, which I am wondering if that second hole is where the bolt goes, but there might even be something else hiding up in there. We need to get it up higher, unfortunately. But the good news is we're moving in the right direction. We've almost maxed out our jack. So what we're gonna need to do now is block this, lower it back down on the blocks. I already did this in the rear to kind of reset the jack stands in the back. So we're gonna need to block this thing so that we can bring it down, add more wood, and get the jack to have more leverage to get it higher. Okay, so at this point, it's time that I build a cradle. That jack was all the way up and it's feeling precarious, and if the boat were to drop from that distance, it could definitely damage it. So I'm gonna show you what I came up with. All right, so here she is. It's a couple 2x6s, which are gonna support the main weight of the boat. The keel of the boat, or the The center line of the boat, the bottom, is sitting right here on this spot here. And then these guys, all they're doing is keeping the boat from tilting one way or the other. Now, the rear of the boat's already stabilized, and it's helping with that. This is just some added protection. And what I'm able to do is to set this on the front of the trailer and keep sliding it back as I raise the jack up so that the boat would never fall more than maybe like an inch or so onto this, as opposed to a far distance and damaging the hull. So we're getting this installed. Okay, so I have come to a decision. If you can tell, this is a pretty big gap. Not quite 2 feet. It's up there pretty good. I mean, there's another good example. So the great news is the boat is nice and stable. Our rear retaining jacks are doing great. This front cradle I built is working perfectly. I feel like the boat's very stable and safe. I've kind of rocked and shook it. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. The problem, and this is going to be kind of a good problem to have, is I thought that I was naive in this, thinking that it was back in this area where the swing cable or swing keel cable goes, but it's way up underneath there. There is no way we are going to get this guy down low enough to be able to access that. So I say it's a good problem to have because this is forcing me to drop the centerboard. And I'm actually glad I'm doing it because when I look at it, it's looking pretty rough. It needs some love, and I'm curious about what the centerboard trunk, the little box that it sits in, curious what kind of condition that's in. And this is a great chance to go ahead and fix all this since we have the boat up off the trailer and we have room to work. So I'm going to proceed in dropping this guy down, and then we'll bring it up to the we'll take it up to the garage, and just like where we did the work on the rudder, we can do the work on this thing and get it cleaned up because it might have some minor damage. I think it's in better shape than the rudder, but it definitely looks like it needs some love, and we're going to want to coat it in something, either a bottom paint or re-gel coated or something. So here is the situation. Because this is a pre-94, I think, model, the access is these two little caps. So I pop these caps out, and then we're going to need to get a wrench up in there behind this guy to basically drop this whole assembly down. So I'm going to pry these caps out, try to figure out what size. I think it's a 9/16, but I'm either going to have to buy an angled ratchet or box wrench or bend one. So let me go ahead and get these guys out. And you can see here a lot of the damage that we're going to be repairing as well while we're underneath here. All right, I got the caps out. They are in pretty rough shape. That one's the better of the two. This one's pretty crushed and not well off. So I'm going to contact Blue Water Yachts, and hopefully they're going to have the replacement caps. So now I just need to get back up in here with a wrench and see if I can get these bolts undone. Victory! I got it out. So it was not too bad. It could have been worse. For the life of me, I could not find a way to film it. It was just in such a weird, awkward spot. So let me just show you what I did. So if you got one of these boats and you're curious about dropping the centerboard, the swing keel, it's not a big deal. Okay, so this bracket here was right up in there, and it was held in by this bolt. And then to access the nut behind it, you go up through this hole with a wrench. So I just put the wrench up in there, and I just sat there and I turned this giant screwdriver a whole bunch of times. I even had to put a little wrench on it to get it to turn. But eventually they all came out. And here is our trunk box, which actually looks to be in really good shape other than some weirdness down there at the end, which I'll need to look into. There's our cable, so that's awesome. So I want to get in here. Oh, Spider made his home up here, a couple of them. I need to get in here and find a way to clean all this up. And I'm going to maybe try to barrier coat it or something. There's a little bit, not really any real wear, just a lot of this like barnacle looking growth stuff. So we need to get all that cleaned out. All right, so here she is. Really glad I dropped it. We got a lot of this barnacle stuff going on here that needs to be cleaned off. There's this weird like glue stuff that doesn't seem to be on there for any specific reason. I've already peeled some of it off and it's just gel cut underneath, so it's kind of weird. This is something that is interesting. So this is the spot where the cable passes through to lift the swing keel. Now, this is all hollowed out, and you can see a chunk of the foam or whatever is inside of this thing. I don't think this is right, because the thing I have goes through and there's just a bolt that goes here and it would just be rattling around, but maybe that's normal. I'm going to talk to Blue Water Yachts about it, because I got the swing keel lift kit, which I've already installed in the boat, thinking when we jacked the boat up, I could just do it while it was on the trailer. Again, blessing in disguise here, because I really want to give this thing a lot of love. It's got a hole here for some reason, not sure why. And then this is our pivot point. I believe it's in good shape, but I feel like I'm going to go back in with some epoxy and clean this up a little bit. It needs a little bit of a repair right there. All surface level stuff. Trailing edge is a little chipped up. Could use some love. But overall, in good shape. Okay, guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up today's video. I know it's not the most exciting subject. There's not a lot of visual reward at the end of this. But this is going to lead to us being able to make massive progress at this point. And we're going to be able to see some big gains in getting closer to getting Timeout on the water. So as always, I want to thank everyone for watching the video. And if you want to help support the project, feel free to like, subscribe, and you can also help us out on Patreon.